Captain Ryan's ship groaned as it fought against the storm of space debris. Bright flashes of light passed by the windows, and the control panel blinked with warning signals. His fingers moved quickly over the buttons, trying to steady the ship. But no matter how hard he tried, the damage was clear: the engine was failing. He had no choice but to land on the nearest planet. It was a small, dusty world far from the busy trade routes, one that most travelers avoided. Ryan looked out the window and saw red-brown rocks and dry plains stretching under a pale sky. The planet seemed quiet, almost empty. The ship shook again, and Ryan gritted his teeth. He knew he couldn't stay in space long with the engine like this. The system might fail at any moment. The landing was rough. The ship hit the ground with a hard bump, and dust filled the air inside the cabin. Ryan struggled to open the door, coughing as the dust escaped. Outside, the wind blew dry dirt over the rocks. Ryan took a deep breath. "I need help," he said to himself. His ship's repair systems were offline, and he didn't have the parts to fix the engine alone. The only hope was the mechanic the locals had talked about, the alien named Miro. He remembered the stories from other travelers. Some said Miro was strange. Others said he was the best mechanic in this part of space. But no one really knew much about him. Ryan tightened his grip on his bag and started walking toward the small town marked on his map. The town was little more than a few buildings made of metal and stone. The people there looked wary as he passed, some stopping their work to watch him. He found a small workshop at the edge of the town. The sign above the door was simple, just one word: Miro. Ryan pushed the door open and stepped inside. The room was filled with strange machines and tools. Some looked old, but others glowed softly with blue light. At the center of the workshop, a tall figure worked on a small device. Miro looked up. His skin was pale green, and his eyes were large and dark. He wore a simple shirt and pants, but there was something calm and confident in the way he moved. "You need help with your ship," Miro said in a quiet voice. Ryan nodded. "Yes. Engine failure. I need it fixed fast." Miro studied Ryan for a moment, then nodded. "I will help. But your ship is more damaged than you think." Ryan frowned. "How bad?" "Bad enough that simple repairs won't work," Miro said. "I can fix it. But it will take time." Ryan felt a flash of frustration. "Time I don't have. I have a mission to complete." Miro smiled slightly. "Sometimes, the mission can wait. Sometimes, the ship must come first." Ryan was silent. He wasn't used to waiting. In space, waiting could mean danger. But he saw the confidence in Miro's eyes. Maybe this alien mechanic was different. Miro began to work. His hands moved quickly and carefully over the ship parts he had brought with him. He used tools that Ryan had never seen before. Some made soft humming sounds, others sparkled with light. Ryan watched closely. The mechanic didn't rush. He was patient and focused. After a while, Miro stopped and looked at Ryan. "Tell me about your mission," he said. Ryan hesitated. The mission was important, but he wasn't sure he could trust this stranger with the details. "I'm searching for lost colonies," Ryan said carefully. "Places where humans once lived, far beyond the known space. My ship was carrying supplies and data. If I lose them, many people will suffer." Miro nodded slowly. "I see. This mission is important." "Yes," Ryan said. "And if my ship fails, the mission fails." Miro looked back at his tools. "I will do my best." Hours passed. The sun outside moved low across the dusty sky. Ryan felt restless but stayed by the workshop door, watching Miro work. The mechanic never stopped, even when the machine seemed difficult to fix. Finally, Miro stepped back. "The engine will work again," he said. "But there is more. I have added some improvements. Your ship will be stronger than before. Ryan raised an eyebrow. Improvements? What kind? Miro smiled again. Small ones. You will see. Ryan felt a mix of hope and doubt. He didn't fully understand Miro's methods or technology. But he had no other choice. He thanked Miro and prepared to test the ship. As Ryan stepped outside, the wind picked up, blowing dust across the planet's surface. He looked back once at the workshop. There was something different about this mechanic. Something that Ryan hadn't expected. The engine hummed to life. The ship was ready to fly again. But Ryan knew this was only the beginning. The mechanic had surprises. And what came next would change everything. Captain Ryan watched as his ship's engine hummed steadily under the soft light of the planet's twin suns. It was working better than before. The small blue lights flickered along the control panel, and the usual warning signals were gone. For the first time since landing, Ryan felt a spark of hope. Still, he was curious about the strange tools and machines Miro had used. The mechanic's workshop was full of gadgets that Ryan had never seen. Some were simple, but others glowed softly with colors he didn't recognize. He wondered how much of the engine's new strength came from Miro's secret knowledge. Ryan decided to ask the mechanic more questions. He found Miro outside, sitting quietly near a small fire pit, cleaning his tools. "Your work is impressive," Ryan said, sitting beside him. "How did you learn to do all this?" Miro looked up and smiled faintly. "I was a student long ago. I studied with many engineers and scientists from different worlds. I learned to understand machines and energy in ways most do not." Ryan nodded slowly. "That explains why you can fix my ship so fast." Miro shrugged. "Fixing is one part. Improving is another." Ryan raised an eyebrow. "What do you mean?" Miro reached into his bag and pulled out a small device no bigger than Ryan's palm. It looked simple, just a metal cube with glowing lines. "This," Miro said, "is a power regulator. It controls the flow of energy in the engine. With it, your ship uses less fuel and gains extra power." Ryan took the device carefully. It was cool to touch and pulse softly. "Where did you get this?" Ryan asked. Miro hesitated. "From my home. It is technology from an old civilization. They disappeared long ago, but their knowledge remains." Ryan was surprised. He had heard stories of ancient civilizations, but never believed the technology could still be used. "You mean, this is more advanced than anything humans have?" "In some ways, yes," Miro said. "But it is not magic. It is science, learned and applied carefully." Ryan looked at the mechanic with new respect. This was no ordinary alien. Miro was a keeper of lost knowledge. "Can you show me how it works?" Ryan asked. Miro smiled again. "Of course." They went back to the workshop, where Miro opened a panel in the ship's engine. He carefully attached the power regulator and connected it to the ship's main energy lines. "Watch," Miro said. Ryan leaned closer. As Miro activated the device, the engine's energy flow shifted. The lights on the control panel brightened, and the engine's hum became steady and strong. "It adjusts the energy smoothly," Miro explained. "No sudden changes. This helps the engine last longer and perform better." Ryan nodded. "This is amazing. I didn't know such things existed." Miro looked thoughtful. "There are many things humans do not know. Many planets, many civilizations. Some knowledge is lost. Some is hidden." Ryan felt a strange excitement. If this technology could improve ships, maybe it could help humans explore deeper into space. As they worked, Ryan noticed Miro's quiet confidence. The mechanic did not boast or rush. Every move was careful, precise. He treated machines as if they were living things. Ryan realized how different Miro was from many people he had met. Most cared only about money or power. Miro cared about understanding and fixing. The quiet moment was broken by a sudden noise. Ryan turned quickly. Outside the workshop, a small group of townspeople had gathered. They watched silently, eyes filled with curiosity and caution. One of them stepped forward. It was a woman with short dark hair and a kind face. "Are you really fixing his ship?" she asked Miro. Miro nodded. "Yes. It will fly again soon." The woman smiled. "We have heard stories about the captain. Lost colonies, faraway worlds. If he succeeds, it will change everything." Ryan felt a weight in his chest. The mission was bigger than just his ship. It was about hope for many people. He looked back at Miro. "Why do you help me? You don't even know me." Miro's eyes met his. "Because the universe is bigger than one person or one planet. Helping others keeps the stars alive." Ryan nodded slowly. "I never thought about it that way." As the sun began to set, painting the sky with pink and orange, Ryan felt something new: trust. Not just in Miro's skills, but in the mechanic himself. Suddenly, Miro stood and pointed to the horizon. "There is something you should see." Ryan followed him outside. In the distance, under the red rocks, there was a strange shape: a large, half-buried machine. It looked ancient and broken. "This was once a great workshop," Miro said quietly. "Long ago, it was full of life and technology. Now, it waits for someone to awaken it." Ryan felt a chill. The planet held more secrets than he first thought. And Miro, this quiet alien mechanic, was the key to unlocking them. "Tomorrow," Miro said, "we will begin more than repairs. We will find what others have lost." Ryan looked at the stars appearing in the darkening sky. For the first time, he was not just a captain with a broken ship. He was part of something bigger. The mechanic he had underestimated was full of surprises. And what came next would change everything. The morning sun rose slowly over the dusty planet, casting long shadows across the red rocks. Captain Ryan and Miro returned to the half-buried machine near the workshop. The strange device was covered in dust and cracked metal, but Miro's eyes shone with excitement. "This machine," Miro said, "is from the ancient civilization I told you about. It holds secrets about energy and power that we can use to help your ship and maybe much more." Ryan nodded, feeling the weight of the moment. For days, he had only worried about fixing his ship and escaping the planet. Now, he realized that there was something bigger at play. But their work was interrupted by a sudden loud noise. A deep rumble shook the ground beneath their feet. Ryan's hand went to his side, where his blaster hung. He looked toward the sky and saw dark shapes moving fast: ships, many ships, flying low and heading straight for the planet. "Raiders," Ryan said quickly. "They must have tracked me here." Miro's calm eyes turned serious. "They are dangerous. We must prepare." Ryan ran toward his ship, heart pounding. The engine was almost fixed, but not ready for battle. If the raiders attacked now, he was vulnerable. He looked back at Miro. "Can your machines fight?" Miro nodded. "I will do what I can." Inside the ship's small control room, Ryan began to activate the ship's basic defenses, but the systems were weak. He had little hope against the coming attack. Outside, the raiders' ships appeared over the horizon, moving like dark shadows against the bright sky. They were fast and armed with powerful weapons. Ryan's fingers tightened on the controls as the first shots hit the ship's shields. The ship shook violently. "Hold on," Ryan shouted. Miro worked quickly in the workshop nearby, attaching strange devices to the ship's hull. These devices glowed with blue energy and hummed softly. "These will help," Miro said. "They can protect the ship and fight back." Ryan was amazed. The mechanic was not just a fixer, he was a fighter. The raiders closed in, firing more shots. The ship's shields flickered but held strong. Then, from the hull, pulses of energy shot out, hitting one of the raider ships. It spiraled out of control and crashed into the rocky ground. The raiders were surprised. They had not expected such resistance. Ryan took a deep breath and opened a channel on the radio. "This is Captain Ryan. Leave this planet now, or you will face destruction." There was silence. Then a harsh voice answered, "You have something that belongs to us. We will take it by force." Ryan clenched his fists. "Not while I'm here." Miro adjusted another device on the ship's side. "Your weapons are weak. These will make them stronger." Blue lights glowed on the ship as new energy weapons activated. Ryan tested them, firing at the raiders. His shots hit their ships, causing explosions. The raiders were forced to pull back, but they did not leave. Instead, they circled, waiting for another chance. Ryan realized this was only the beginning. The raiders wanted whatever cargo he was carrying and they would not stop. He turned to Miro. "Can we escape?" Miro nodded. "Yes, but we must finish repairs fast. And I need to make one more upgrade." "More upgrades?" Ryan asked, surprised. Miro smiled faintly. "Yes. This one will give you an advantage no one expects." They worked quickly, as the raiders watched from above. The mechanic connected a small device to the ship's control panel. It looked like a simple crystal, but it pulsed with energy. "This will disrupt their targeting systems," Miro explained. "They won't be able to lock onto your ship easily." Ryan felt a rush of hope. With this, he might survive the next attack. The raiders moved in again, weapons blazing. This time, their shots missed more often. The ship dodged and fired back, hitting several enemy vessels. The battle was fierce and dangerous, but Ryan and Miro worked together. The captain piloted with skill, and the mechanics' machines gave them strength. After a long fight, the raiders finally retreated, disappearing into the sky. Ryan leaned back, exhausted but relieved. "We did it?" Miro nodded. "Yes. But this is only the start. They will come back." Ryan looked at his ship, now glowing with new energy. "Then we need to be ready." He realized that Miro was not just a mechanic. He was a protector, a guardian of technology that could change everything. As the sun set behind the red rocks, Ryan made a promise to himself and to Miro. They would fight together. They would protect the mission and find the lost colonies. Because the mechanic he had underestimated was full of surprises. And what came next would change everything. The night was quiet now, but the weight of the day's battle still hung in the air. Captain Ryan sat beside the flickering fire near the workshop, staring at the stars that sparkled over the dusty planet. The fight with the raiders had been close, but it had shown him one important truth: he couldn't do this alone. Miro joined him, carrying 2 steaming cups. He handed one to Ryan and sat down without a word. For a moment, they just watched the stars. Finally, Ryan broke the silence. "You're more than a mechanic, aren't you?" Miro smiled faintly. "I was an engineer once. A long time ago, I worked for a civilization that created great machines. But that world is gone now." Ryan looked curious. "What happened?" Miro's eyes darkened. "War. Greed. Many things. I left before the end. Since then, I have lived quietly here, fixing machines and helping travelers." Ryan nodded slowly. "So, why help me? You don't owe me anything." Miro shrugged. "Because your mission is important. You seek lost colonies. Places where humans lived long ago. That is hope. Hope is worth protecting." Ryan felt a strange warmth in his chest. Most people cared only about themselves. Miro cared about something bigger. "I need your help," Rian said. Not just to fix my ship. I want to find those colonies. But the raiders will keep coming. I can't do it alone. Miro looked at him thoughtfully. Together, we can be stronger. Rian smiled. Then we're partners. The next morning, they began working side by side. Rian taught Miro about human technology and navigation, while Miro shared his knowledge of alien machines and energy systems. Miro showed Rian how to use devices that could scan planets for signs of life and old structures. These were more advanced than anything Rian had seen. Rian, in turn, explained the ship's control systems and weapons. They worked on combining their knowledge to prepare for the dangers ahead. Days passed quickly. Their partnership grew not just in skill but in trust. One afternoon, while testing a new scanner, the device beeped suddenly. Look. Miro said, pointing at the screen. There is a signal nearby. Rian's eyes widened. Signal? From where? From beneath the surface. Something alive, or once alive. They followed the scanner's readings to a rocky hill outside the town. There, hidden beneath layers of dirt and stone, they found the entrance to an underground tunnel. This could be part of the lost colony, Rian said excitedly. They took flashlights and entered the tunnel carefully. The air was cool and still. As they moved deeper, walls covered with strange symbols appeared. Miro studied them closely. These markings are from my people. They show history, knowledge, and warnings. Rian touched one symbol gently. Warnings. About what? Miro looked serious. About dangers that destroyed the ancient worlds. Things that still might exist. Suddenly, a faint sound echoed through the tunnel. Both men stopped and listened. It's a machine, Miro said quietly. Still working after all this time. They followed the sound and came to a large room filled with glowing panels and machines. Dust covered everything, but power still flowed through some parts. Rian looked around in awe. This place is a treasure. If we can understand this technology, it could help us find the colonies and protect them. Miro nodded. And maybe protect the galaxy. They spent hours exploring and collecting data. As they worked, Rian felt the full meaning of their partnership. Alone, he was just a captain with a broken ship. But with Miro, he had knowledge, strength, and hope. Later, back at the workshop, Miro handed Rian a small device. This will help you communicate with me wherever you go. We are connected now. Rian took it, feeling a bond stronger than words. Their quiet moment was broken by a sudden alarm from the ship. Rian's heart raced. The raiders had returned. Miro stood calmly. They are not far. We must prepare. Rian grabbed his blaster and looked at the mechanic. We fight together. Miro smiled. Together. As the sun set behind the rocky hills, two unlikely partners stood ready. One a captain from a lost human mission, the other a secretive alien engineer. Together, they faced the coming storm. Because the mechanic he had underestimated was full of surprises and what came next would change everything. The night was dark, but the stars above shone brightly, casting a soft glow over the dusty planet. Captain Rian stood beside his ship, watching the horizon carefully. The raiders were still out there somewhere, waiting for their next chance to attack. He knew this wasn't over. Miro stood next to him, quiet and calm. The mechanic had been working non-stop, adding new defenses and upgrading the ship's systems. The partnership between the captain and the alien engineer had grown stronger each day. Suddenly, a soft beep came from Miro's communication device. He checked the screen, then turned to Rian with a serious look. There is someone coming, Miro said. A traveler. Not one of the raiders. Rian frowned. Who? Miro shook his head. I do not know. But they have a ship. And they are close. The two men moved to the edge of the town, watching as a small ship landed smoothly nearby. A figure stepped out, a woman with bright eyes and a confident smile. She wore simple clothes, but carried herself with a quiet strength. Ryan approached carefully. "Hello. I'm Captain Ryan. Who are you?" The woman smiled warmly. "My name is Tala. I am a trader and explorer. I heard about your fight with the raiders and came to help." Ryan was surprised. "Why? You don't know me?" Tala laughed softly. "I know what it is like to face danger alone. And I know the importance of your mission. I want to join you." Miro studied her carefully. "We could use another ally. But can we trust her?" Tala met their gaze steadily. "Trust must be earned. But I promise, I am here to help." Ryan looked at Miro, then nodded. "Welcome aboard." Inside the ship, Tala moved quickly, helping to repair damage from the battles. She was skilled with machines, but also had knowledge of trade routes and hidden places. As they worked, she told stories of other worlds and dangers. "The raiders are growing stronger," she said. "They want control of the lost colonies for their own power." Ryan listened closely. "We must find the colonies before they do." Tala nodded. "And I have information that might help. I know a secret route, an old path used by traders to avoid danger." Miro looked interested. "Can we trust this information?" Tala smiled. "You will see. I have no reason to lie." The next day, they prepared to leave the planet. The ship was stronger now, thanks to Miro's upgrades and Tala's help. As they lifted off, Ryan felt a mix of hope and caution. The new ally could be valuable or a risk. The journey through space was tense. The raiders were still chasing them, their ships appearing on scanners at every turn. One night, Tala stood beside Ryan on the bridge. "There is a planet nearby," she said quietly. "It might be the first colony. But it is dangerous." Ryan looked at the stars. "We have no choice. We must try." As they approached the planet, their scanners showed strange signals, energy readings unlike anything they had seen before. Miro frowned. "This is not just a colony. It is protected by old machines. Machines like those on the dusty planet." Ryan felt his heart beat faster. "We must be careful." They landed in a valley surrounded by tall cliffs. The air was thick with silence. As they explored, they found ruins covered in vines and strange symbols. But suddenly, the ground shook. Machines hidden beneath the earth awoke with loud noises. Ryan raised his blaster. "Get ready." Miro and Tala moved quickly, using their knowledge to disable the machines. The battle was fierce, but the trio worked as one, each covering the others. When the last machine stopped, silence returned. Tala looked around. This place was once alive. Now it waits. Ryan nodded. "We must find the heart of the colony." Deeper in the ruins, they found a chamber filled with glowing crystals and ancient technology. The energy pulsed softly, like a heartbeat. Miro touched one crystal carefully. This power could change everything. Suddenly, the chamber door closed behind them. The walls began to move. Ryan grabbed Tala's hand. "We're trapped." Miro's eyes searched the room for a way out. "The machines want to protect this place. But they don't know us." Using his tools, Miro quickly worked to unlock the door. Tala helped, her hands steady despite the danger. Finally, the door opened, and they rushed out into the sunlight. Outside, Ryan looked at his companions and smiled. "We survived. Together." Tala grinned. "This is only the beginning." Miro nodded. "And we will face what comes next. As one." The mechanic he had underestimated was full of surprises, and now, with a new ally, what came next would change everything. The air on the new planet was cool and fresh, a welcome change from the dry, dusty world they had left behind. Captain Rian, Miro, and Tala stood at the edge of the ruins, staring at the large entrance carved into the rock. It looked old, worn by time, but strong and mysterious. "This is the heart of the colony," Tala said softly. "If what we seek is here, it's inside." Rian nodded. "Let's find out what secrets this place holds." They entered carefully, their flashlights cutting through the darkness. The walls inside were covered with strange symbols, glowing faintly with blue light. Miro's eyes widened. "These symbols," he said, "are a language of energy. They tell stories, but also hold instructions." As they moved deeper, the air grew cooler, and the soft hum of machines filled the space. The trio found themselves in a large hall, filled with ancient devices that seemed to be still working. Miro stepped forward, examining a large console covered in dust. He brushed his fingers over the controls, and suddenly the machines around them lit up, filling the room with soft blue light. Rian looked at Tala. "What is this place?" Tala's voice was filled with awe. "It's a control center. Long ago, it managed the colony's power and defenses." Miro smiled. "And it may still work." Suddenly, a screen flickered to life, showing a map of nearby planets and stars. Lines connected dots in a web of energy. Rian leaned closer. "This map shows other colonies," he said excitedly. "We've found the key." Miro nodded. "With this, we can locate the lost colonies and maybe protect them." But as they studied the map, the ground trembled again. The same protective machines from before stirred, but this time, they moved faster and more aggressively. Rian raised his blaster. "We have to defend ourselves." Tala quickly activated a shield device she had brought from her ship. A glowing barrier surrounded them just as the machines attacked. The fight was intense. The machines fired beams of energy, but Miro used the control panel to weaken their power. Tala fired her blaster with precision, and Rian moved with skill, protecting his friends. After what felt like hours, the machines finally powered down and collapsed to the ground. Breathing heavily, Rian looked at his companions. "We can't keep fighting like this. We need to understand these machines better." Miro agreed. "These defenses protect something important. We must find what it is and use it." They continued through the tunnels, following the energy lines on the map. Soon, they came to a large chamber with a glowing crystal at its center. The crystal pulsed with energy, casting light on the walls covered in more symbols. Miro approached carefully. "This is the power source. It feeds the entire colony." Tala looked around. "If we can control this, we can protect the colonies and stop the raiders." Rian felt hope rising inside him. "Then we must take this crystal back to the ship." As Miro reached out to touch the crystal, the ground shook violently. The chamber door slammed shut, trapping them inside. Rian rushed to the door, but it was locked tight. "We're trapped again." Miro examined the walls, searching for a way out. "The crystal is connected to the security system. If we remove it carelessly, it will seal us in." Tala looked determined. "Then we have to be careful." They worked together, studying the symbols and energy flow. Miro used his knowledge of ancient technology to carefully disconnect the crystal's power link. Slowly, the crystal lifted from its pedestal, glowing softly in Miro's hands. The door began to open. Rian breathed a sigh of relief. "Let's get out of here." Back in the ship, they placed the crystal in a special container designed by Miro. The ship's systems immediately responded, glowing with new power. "This crystal is more than just energy," Miro said. "It is a key. With it, we can unlock the secrets of the lost colonies." Tala smiled. "And maybe find a way to stop the raiders for good." Rian looked at the stars ahead. "Our mission is clearer now. We will find the colonies and protect them." As the ship lifted off, the planet's surface faded below them, but the promise of discovery and danger was still ahead. Together, they faced the unknown, knowing that the mechanic they had underestimated held the key to a future they could only begin to imagine. Because the mechanic was full of surprises and what came next would change everything. The stars outside the ship shone like distant diamonds, calm and beautiful. But inside, the air was filled with tension. Captain Rian, Miro, and Tala gathered around the glowing control panel where the crystal pulsed softly, filling the room with blue light. They had come a long way. From the dusty planet to the ancient ruins, from battles with raiders to unlocking powerful secrets. Now, the path ahead was clear. They could find the lost colonies and protect them. But with power came responsibility. Rian looked at Miro. This crystal can protect the colonies, but what if it falls into the wrong hands? The raiders will stop at nothing. Miro nodded. That is why we must be careful. The technology is powerful, but it must be used wisely. Tala's voice was steady. We have a choice. We can hide this power, keep it secret. Or we can use it to fight, to bring hope back to the galaxy. Rian felt the weight of those words. He had always dreamed of finding the lost colonies, of restoring hope to a broken world. But now, the cost was clear. We must protect the colonies, he said finally. But we must also protect the people. We can't let this power destroy us. Miro placed the crystal carefully into a secure chamber. I will build a device to control it. Only those with the right knowledge can use it. Tala smiled. Then we will guard it together. Their decision made, the ship set course for the next colony on the map. The journey was long and filled with danger, but the trio was stronger than before. They worked together, sharing hope and strength. Along the way, they encountered more raider ships, but with Miro's technology and their growing teamwork, they outsmarted and avoided the attacks. Their ship was no longer just a broken vessel, it was a symbol of resistance. One evening, as they looked out at the endless stars, Tala spoke softly. I never thought I would find a family in strangers. Rian smiled. Neither did I. Miro nodded. We are more than a team. We are a new hope. Finally, they reached the next planet, a world rich with green forests and shining lakes. The scanners showed signs of life, but also signs of struggle. The colony here had faced great hardship. As they landed, the group saw ruins mixed with new buildings, where people were trying to rebuild. Rian stepped forward. We come with help. The people welcomed them cautiously but soon trusted the trio. With Miro's technology and Tala's knowledge of trade, they began to restore power and protect the colony from raiders. Rian stood with the colony leaders, watching the sun rise over the new hope they had built. But the battle was not over. A message arrived on the ship's radio, a warning from distant allies. The raiders were gathering in force, planning a final attack to take control of the lost colonies. Rian's heart raced. We must prepare. Together, with the colonies they had helped and the knowledge they had gained, Rian, Miro, and Tala organized a defense. Ships from different worlds joined their cause, ready to fight for freedom. The battle was fierce and long. Raiders attacked with ships and machines, but the defenders stood strong. Miro's devices disrupted enemy weapons. Tala's strategy guided the fleet. Rian led with courage and hope. In the final moments, as the raiders' leader's ship approached, Rian fired a powerful energy blast from their ship charged by the ancient crystal. It hit the enemy vessel, forcing it to retreat. The raiders fled, their power broken. Victory was theirs. As peace returned, Rian looked at Miro and Tala. We did it. Miro smiled. Together, we changed the future. Tala added, and we will keep protecting hope for all the colonies to come. Rian knew their journey was only beginning. The lost colonies would need time to heal, and new dangers might rise. But with friends like Miro and Tala, and the power of the ancient technology, he believed anything was possible. The mechanic he had underestimated was not just full of surprises, he was the key to a new future. And what came next would truly change everything.